I got something to say. Fuck y'all. I got something to say. Fuck off. Forgot my bad. My bad. This verse is pretty much fuckery. This goes out to all those birds who keep ducking me. You owe me loot. Now start paying your company. These dudes ain't seen the real thuggery. My bad. Yet bet I will collect specs. Wreck. Go hit select. Stress. Sweats 100%. That's dance accepting the rest. Go stuff another muffin in your gullet. You fat fucking mullet having bullet needing nothing. Go stick another pizza in your hole. You off the crap soul. Shitty little chunk of coal. Bro, my bad. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. My bad. My bad. I got something to say. Fuck y'all. I got something to say. Fuck off. Forgot my bad. My bad.
Wow, I mean, that sounds like that could be the new. And then I got high. Maybe.
My bad.
My bad. All right. Well, thanks to Laz and who
A
was
Bobo Loco.
Bobo Loco.
A Bobo Loco.
All right.
Nice hat, KJ.
Thank you much, Lee. Thank you.
Is it a derby?
It's a Winston Churchill.
A what?
It's a Winston Churchill.
Is that what it's actually called? I don't know anything about hats like that. So I mean, that's what it's called? Is a Winston Churchill?
It's a DH.
A DH.
Large.
Boys,
I don't
the
know.
allergies. They got me.
What happened?
I got eczema. I woke up today with eczema on my eyes. It's the allergies. I'll get it for about 2 days.
Is that what it is, or did somebody shit on your pillow?
No, I got nutted in the face. I don't want to talk about it. It was from an alien, so
Okay.
it was like acidy.
Okay, you can't say I got nutted on the face and I don't want to talk about it when we're live, because I mean the first question, not myself, because I wouldn't want to pry like that, but the first question that KJ is going to have is like, how did that happen?
No, it was me. I know exactly how it happened.
Oh, well, were you wearing that derby hat or the Winston Churchill when he gave him the old Winston?
It's why I pulled patches of his hair out.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
This is getting fucking weird already. We're live.
That makes sense.
Why are we live? I thought we were pre-recording this.
We're live because we're not unalive yet.
This one's going to get deleted for sure.
It might. It might.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
You remember the first time you ever got inebriated?
Yes.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Fuck. Like real bad on my own, or like someone gave me a couple sips of beer and I got a little saucy?
Just whatever. Just whatever.
On my own, like 10 years old.
I'm not talking about like when your dad was like, "Here, drink all my beer" or whatever.
No, 10 years old on my own.
When you knew it was wrong, but you did it, right?
Stole booze, 10 years old.
Okay. It was booze.
Me and my 9-year-old cousin, we got fucking drunk. Me and him were assholes, and if we hung out together today, even at 40 years old, we'd still be assholes. So we don't see each other all the time.
I remember my little brother, I think he was, oh man, he must have still been in diapers. There was a party going on at one time, and he was in the kitchen next to the bar cabinet thing where the bottles were, and he was opening them all up and trying a little sip here and there. It was good times. Yeah. Now he wouldn't have been in diapers. He would have probably been about like five or six, but which is fine. KJ, what about you?
I started late in life, so I was maybe about 15.
That's normal.
Yeah, but it feels late because we're not throwing out 5s and 10s. I'm over here in the 15s. I'm in the teens column. There you go. Look at that, 4 horsemen.
No, that's how old I was.
4.
4.
How do you even remember that? Like, I don't remember what I
Oh,
was doing
because
when I
it's
was 4.
because it's a story that has been passed down in lore
Oh,
as well.
Okay, well, let's
amongst
start the fucking canon story. Let's go.
amongst people. Not to throw said person under the bus, but I had a babysitter who, was watching me, and her and her boyfriend at the time were rolling up and smoking the old cannabis. And I was like, hey, can I have some of that? And they're like, not a goddamn chance, boy. Are you getting any of this? And I was like, well, I mean, come on. I was like, but my dad lets me smoke joints.
Jesus.
They're like, what?
4. You're
They're like,
fucking 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, okay, well, listen, here you go. Whatever you do, don't say anything when we drop you off to your grandma.
He went to Granny.
I hate these fucking people already.
So I have a little bit of puffsky, a little bit of the old fucking devil's lettuce. After that, I don't know. But apparently
Beelzebub's broccoli.
it came time to go home, and I go running right into grandma's place, and I say to her, Grandma, I smoked a joint. First words right out of my mouth. And she looks me dead in the eye and she says, you did? Where? And
Fucking rat.
I turn and I
Powerful.
look at the bartender. Whoa. I look at the babysitter. I turn
What a life.
at the babysitter and I look back at my grandma and I said, my dad. So right away, she just assumed either my dad was a piece of shit or I was lying. And that's how you keep people safe, gentlemen. That's how you don't be a rat. And you learn at a very young age.
You narked out the wrong guy, though.
Hey, you were half ratted.
That guy.
Yeah, I've ratted.
That guy wasn't even in the picture. He was already a
Well-
POS at that point.
That actually leads me to another question then, what I had for later on this evening, but we might as well just do it now. It's a perfect segue. KJ, when's the last time that you buried somebody to make sure that you didn't get in trouble? Either ratted them out, narked them out, or deterred the heat from you to them.
Yeah. So I when I was a
The more
kid,
serious trouble, the better.
yeah, when I was a kid, I used to be like a really bad delinquent to my grandmother, and I actually used to kick her in the stomach. And
What the
yeah,
fuck?
I used to practice karate, and I would
Karate?
yeah, sometimes accidental, sometimes on purpose, but I would haul off
Holy
and I would
fuck.
kick her in the stomach. So I was doing that one night where I was just I had no function that this would be painful to her. But so I would just be like laughing and she'd be sitting in her chair, babysitting me while my brothers were in the room and I would kick her in the stomach. So she got very angry at one point and she was like, I'm gonna tell your mother when she gets home that you've been kicking me in the stomach. I'm like, okay. So I got very scared. And what I did is I pulled my sleeve back and I bit down on my own arm like as hard as I could
Fuck is
just
wrong
before
with
my
you?
mom got home. And then I ran out and I said that my brother had bit me.
And that's why you kicked your grandma?
No,
Or
this
you
was
did it to completely deflect and
just
steal the
complete
heat away from the story.
absolutely.
So grandma couldn't say anything because you came out with a better story.
That's right. So I came out like bit down as hard as I could, and I have like little teeth. This really should not have worked, but it did.
KJ, you're going to make a therapist super rich one day.
My brother was grounded,
Like
sent off
loaded.
to the room, like completely bit, like all tears running down my face. Got the sympathy.
Did you ever do that, Brady, with your brother? Did you ever purposely knowing for absolutely no reason, like pick a fight just so you could get into a fist fight with them?
Not so much that, but I did a lot. Me and my brother Ward most of my life until I was a teenager. But I once threw a dart in his fucking head. I was like 4 or 5, around that area, around the time that you got stoned. And he was downstairs babysitting me while my parents were out for the night, and we had our cousins over and a couple people over, and they were all playing darts. And he's like, "Brady, you can't play with the darts; it's too dangerous." And I'm like, "Fuck you." And I just remember him being a dick with these darts and like trying to grab him away. So he threw one and it fell to the ground. And I was like a cat. When you know what I mean? You dropped a treat. I ran over, I grabbed that thing, and he's like, "Give it back." And I said, "Okay." And I fucking threw it at him, and it got stuck right in his forehead. But it wasn't stuck enough where like I had any force. If I was a couple years older, it may have like went into his cranium. It just went dink, dink, and just hung there in his head. I remember my parents came home, they were pissed, and I was like, "He beat me. He fucking beat me. Why would I throw a dart at his head without, you know what I mean?" And like he had a history of like hauling off and beating me. So they were just like, "Oh yeah, okay." He did. So, but yeah, yeah.
had
To answer your
probable
question,
cause.
yes, yes, I did put my brother in a bad situation a few times. He deserved it though. He fucked my Legos up once, so bad.
Okay.
Have you ever seen someone come in and break somebody's fucking masterpiece? That happens all the time. And when you had a little brother and then you had a masterpiece built, he was all weekend, he worked on this masterpiece. And you just come in, you kick it over, ha 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 ha, you break it, right? That's a typical story. No, no, no. My delinquent fucking asshole brother came in and broke it so bad, stomped it down so bad that he broke Lego pieces. How do you even break Lego pieces? How is that even a thing? So darts,
Ball bat.
no, I just walked up with boom, and I'm like, there's like pieces broken in half, and like structures all fucking that you like build on top of all broken. So he deserved to get a dart stuck in his forehead,
I
amongst other things. But I love you, brother,
okay. All right.
brother KJ.
I too. I have a little brother. He's 5 years younger than myself.
Well, we're going into this.
I once one time when we were young. I was probably in my early teens at the time.
Okay.
We lived out in the country. We were rural livers. Rural. We lived on 15 acres of land, had a big old barn, had a couple of horses. We were doing that style, right?
Living the life.
And some neighbors were over with his kids. And we're all kind of like, just chasing each other around and stuff like that, doing one of these things. And I remember we running through the house because the garage kind of went into the basement, and I go running into this back room, which was kind of like the tool room and the canning room and the laundry room. It was that utility room of the basement, right?
All right.
And the three kids, including my little brother, come chasing after me as I reach up and I grab the Marlin 375 deer hunting rifle. And at a young age, you find out very quickly that, most Americans, most adults do not keep unloaded weaponry in the house. And I turned and dry fired this rifle in the house at my little brother.
Oh, fuck. Did you fucking hit him, dude?
No, he's standing in a doorway. Picture it, in a doorway. On one side is concrete cement wall. On the other side is the underneath the stairs. Okay, so the stairs that are coming down, it's like a little closet, but it's underneath the stairs.
Yep.
I'm not even shitting you. Bullet hits the wall, ricochets off of the wall onto off of the post, ends up in the closet around him on this side, literally goes around him and misses him at head level. And the
It's like some Pulp Fiction act of God shit.
I put the gun down. My mother and the parent of the other children are sitting upstairs. You just hear this kaboom. This is
Someone's dead downstairs.
rifle.
Yeah, someone's dead in their eyes.
the gun down. As they're coming down the stairs, I go beelining out of there, through the door, out the garage, and boom, out into the field, 15 acres property. In behind there is the polo field, horse polo on the, rich people, shit like that. Through that whole area, and I'm like hanging out on the other side of the clubhouse of this polo field, like a couple of miles away, going,
Never come back.
I'm never coming back. It was the middle of the night before I tried to sneak in, and my mom was still sitting there waiting. But there was no cops. So I was good.
That's good.
So a dart? Pussy.
All right. Well, I won't trump you. I won't trump you, but
I remember one time I used to practice. Okay, my little brother probably knows this now, and maybe he'll watch this and give me a call. But I used to practice like wrestling type holds to see if they would really work or not. And obviously, the sleeper hold was one of those ones. And I practiced that on him once, put him in a sleeper hold, and just let him go. And he ends up falling head first on the garage floor. So, yeah, brothers, right?
Why the garage?
So me and my brother used to have a date.
House.
We used to have a daisy sitting around, and
BB
it was a pretty little BB gun, but it was a pump daisy, right?
Oh, okay, the rifle, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the rifle style. And the fucker, she'd leave if you shot. We had like cedar planks in our basement, and if you shot a BB against the cedar planks, it'd stick in there, right? So she had a little bit of power. And what me and my brother would do is every now and then we would fucking grab it. If the other one was pissing each other off, and it was around Halloween season, we'd get the white sucker sticks.
Okay,
The fucking from the shitty suckers from the hood, you know what I mean? The ones that the fucking people gave out. They used to be a buck a bag and all that shit. You get like 7,000 of them for a fucking $1. We'd eat those suckers, or you just take them off and you put the pole in the daisy. It used to fit down the fucking barrel perfectly. And dude, those things would leave bruises like this on you, like Charlie horses when you got shot with them. Would fucking shoot each other. Anyway, one day, getting babysat by one of my older cousins. She's a gal. She was probably 15 at the time. My fucking brother goes to shoot me. I dive out of the way. It was like a movie. Got her on the thigh. Holy fuck, we were both in shit. That daisy got locked up forever. I recently just found it like 6-7 years ago, where I was like, holy fuck, that's the old sucker shooter. This thing was a fucking menace, man. But yeah, my old man almost killed both of us. He was like, are you fucking serious? Your fucking cousin? I'm like,
it was funny. As a kid, you either had one of two types of BB guns. It was either a daisy or a crossbow. That was it.
Yeah.
Me and this buddy of mine, this other buddy of mine, Chris, we used to play this game. Alongside of his house was this area of trees, and we had dug out this foxhole because thought we were cool or whatever, right? We were in like grade 5, I think.
Army boys.
Like that. Yeah.
Little grunts.
Play this game because we only had one gun. But we would play this game where one person would be in the foxhole with the gun, and the other person would be like, 20, 30 yards away. And that first shot, because it was the pump action, that first shot, you get like 10 or 20 or whatever it was. That first shot was going to hurt. After that, it might be, however many pumps you can get off, because the object of the game was to make it from where you were to the foxhole and not get shot a lot.
Not get shot, yeah. A lot, exactly. We used to play corn tag, where all of us would have BB guns and one person would have to run through the cornfields. And you got to try and make it from one side to the other. If you made it to the other side without getting blasted, and you'd know if someone got blasted, everyone was forced to wear shorts and a t-shirt. Yeah. So if you got shot in the arm, you got shot in the leg with a fucking BB gun or a pellet gun, you'd always have the pellet either stuck in you or the BB. Like, you'd be able to tell. You'd hear it. Like, we'd all be popping off on different sides of this cornfield, and you hear pop, 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 pop. Ah, fuck! Like, I remember getting blasted in the calf and having to dig it out of my calf muscle. It was horrible. But yeah, we used to play that a lot.
You ever play a game called Flinch? And I'm not talking about the one with your hands or whatever, right? Flinch, I'm talking about where you would stand like your feet shoulder width apart or so, and you would stand across from somebody who is about, maybe like 5 to 7 feet away from you, standing like that as well. And you took out your buck knife, right? And the object was to throw it and stick it in the ground as close to their foot as possible,
We used to do that with darts.
and you
Yeah.
weren't allowed to move your foot.
Yep.
Mm.
So
if you
my
didn't-
buddy's uncle,
Didn't have a knife, you could use like a regular screwdriver or something.
my buddy's uncle,
No.
we used to play that game, but he would do it at us where we'd be all drunk and we'd be like, dude, stop. He just wouldn't stop. We'd all play for a bit, but you never had shoes on at my buddy's house. So you come down into his basement, and we'd all be like, we'd get drunk and play darts with his uncle, and his uncle would just fucking whip him at your feet, and they get stuck in your fucking nails, like they get stuck in the tip of your toe. Like, dude, it was horrible. I remember the one day I got so mad at him, I did the same thing as my brother, but this is like 20 years later. I was like in my early 20s. I fucking stuck it in his fucking foot so hard, man. He never did it again. R.I.P. Billy, you fucking crazy bastard. But that guy used to fuck with us with darts. Flinch,
So,
man.
so are you saying you had like a sheltered life or something, KJ? Come on.
KJ,
Well,
besides kicking your grandmother, what did you used to do?
Seriously, you just got done telling us how you used to kick your grandmother in the belly.
No, I guess like it wouldn't be. It definitely wasn't darts and wasn't like sharp objects. Didn't do that shit. But there would be like, I mean, I was hit with like every version of ball known to man, like baseballs, playing red ass, and all that shit.
Okay, no, let me dig here. Let me dig. I gotta dig. Wait a second, KJ. I apologize to cut you off, but there's some juice in here, and I'm gonna get it out of you. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze you like the fucking orange juice that you little orange juice maker that you are. Okay, without incriminating yourself, because me and Tid could do this all fucking night. This is the reason why we found each other later on in life, is because we're both fucking degenerates, just different heights and genetics and sizes. But we're both kind of come from a different path on other sides of the planet. But somehow it came together as being delinquents that have very similar stories. You've got something hiding in here besides kicking your grandmother and just the go-to shit. So you got hit by balls. Does that mean that you were picked on by the average dude?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is in high school?
No, this was middle school, really. High
Middle
school,
school.
I had completely. By the time high school came around, I had learned to manipulate the jocks and the popular kids,
Okay,
and
this is where I'm going.
I would drop coins on the floor because they would jump and they would run to pick them up, and then when they did,
Did you go to a Jewish high school? That was too
no,
easy. I apologize. That was too easy.
these were just the black boys playing the basketball, so you would throw a couple nickels on the ground and they needed to eat, and so they would run.
What
and
the
they would drop down to come and collect these things, and when they did that, I would stomp on their hands, and they learned to back off and stuff like that. But no, the actual bullying portions of life for me was they would find balls and they would just throw them at me outside of gym class. This would just be during recess.
So there was a group of kids who used to just collect balls all day long and just wait until you hit the hallways or hit outside, and they just blast you with a bunch of different sporting tools.
Like I got hit in like the head with footballs a lot, basketballs. Like sometimes they just weren't aiming for the nets. They were just purposefully like, oh no, and just flung the ball as hard as they could at the top of my head, hit by a baseball in the spine. It was a lot of terribleness.
Are you sure? Okay, hold on, because I'm seeing some kind of a correlation here. Are you sure that the kids around you weren't playing like their version of whack-a-mole and they would hit you with stuff until you would throw money on the ground at them?
I didn't learn the money thing until high school.
And let me ask you this: when you threw all of that down, did you always yell at it, "My nickels," before running away?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would be walking down the hall with a couple of friends, and they would be like, oh, we're coming across the gym area and all of the kids are there and they're ready to go and get sweaty, and I was always just like, watch this, and I'd take out a handful because I always had change on me. I just always had change. So
Are you a busker? Were you a busker after school?
No, I think I just got a large like lunch allowance, like more so than the average bear.
I can
So,
tell. I can tell.
Wait, the old man would just like reach into his pocket and give you a mitt full of change and be
Right.
on your way, boy.
Honestly. Yeah, so I had change to burn. I would collect the change back because a lot of times they would leave it unattended once I'd stomped on their fingers. But yeah.
How many
Mm.
times did you get them to fall for this?
Oh, many times. Many times. Because like I would do some tricks where I would like throw it on the ground and be like, ah no, guys. And I'd go around the corner, let them start picking it up, come back, fucking just and then that would be great. And then there would be other times I'm like the fastest person that can pick it up, like the last person that doesn't pick it up, I'm targeting you. But if you can get away in time, I mean, fantastic. You're gonna earn 15 cents.
I was wondering what was making. I was trying to paint this picture, and I finally figured it out. It's the hat plus the things that you're saying. If this was the 1800s, mid 1800s,
It was
you'd
close.
be a fucking Uncle Tom, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it was close.
You'd be the house man, the house nickel.
No, these
Don't
kids
speak when I'm saying that. You're gonna make me fucking say something I'm not trying to actually say. So just settle down for a second. StreamYard likes to cut out audio. I said you'd be a house nickel, Nickel.
Uh-huh. Listen,
Yeah. What is with all this racism that you have in your body?
these guys were dicks. They really were. They were dicks. And then they're, like the popular kids.
Would these guys like sneak balls out, or would they bring balls from home?
Now, to be fair, like the high school
What's
kids,
that?
there's a fruit fly that I can't manage to land.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you're fucking losing. You're turning into Benoit on us, buddy.
The
What's
high
going
school-
on here?
The high school kids that I used to stomp on are different from the middle school kids. This is just the people that I decided to take my aggression out on. But the middle school kids, yeah, I don't know where they got these balls from. They could have brought them from home for all I know. But
Now, when you were in high school, did the middle school kids still throw balls at you?
No, a lot of them had gone to jail. I hope.
Well, I mean,
Well, that leads me to my next question. KJ, when's the last time you were in?
The last time I was in, I've avoided a lot of things. Yeah.
wow.
I can tell by the sweater and the hat that you have never been in.
No, I've avoided. I've done a lot. There was one time though that I almost did. Like I was up against the squad car and everything. It was close. Yeah.
Okay, what happened?
It was a stupid thing where they thought that a toy gun was a real one.
So we heard about this on Marijuanders. Let's elaborate.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
On the old show we used to do. He talked about this.
It doesn't exist.
So what happened is that I was doing a film for an English project and it was for The Great Gatsby. And so my plan was to be like, okay, does anybody have a toy gun? We're going to do the scene where he shoots Thingy into the pool and it'll be great. So my friend was like, I've got these guns that are like very much close to the real thing. I was like, fantastic, bring it. And so we were doing it and we were going up and down this hill like a dozen times, just filming this one thing, very clearly filming. Well, some bitch in an apartment building way up yonder decided that this was the real deal.
Excuse me, where?
Way up an apartment building, like
No.
far
No.
Up yonder.
Repeat the first.
Up yonder. Way up
Okay.
yonder. So
right.
so far up yonder that you couldn't even see it. All right, that's how far yonder he was. But
That's a lot of yonderings.
A lot of yondered, and so they called the police. We had done filming. We were walking back towards the school. 3 squad cars barrel over the hill that we were just on. They cut us off. They step out of the car. They're like, "Are you two boys from the tennis field?" And we're like, no, because we weren't at a tennis field. We were on the hill that you just tore up ground on. So they're like, "Oh, okay."
Did
They
he
go to
say? Did he say, "Ma'am, calm down. It's dark. I can't tell what you're
no, no,
saying.
no.
Slow down."
This was broad daylight, but I have been called
Oh,
ma'am in future iterations. Uh,
oh, okay.
so they get back in the squad car, they go walking away. We continue to walk towards the school. They come back. This time they bust out the car and they throw me and the person who was holding the gun. By this time, we had sent the gun away. Right? We were like, okay, take it back before it gets lost. Take it back to your home because it was the kid's guy. It was
It
the
was a
kid's gun.
real fucking gun, I bet you. But keep going.
It really wasn't, because we checked. Because I like shot
We
off a
jacked
few. I
a
was like, "This is
store
cool." Huh?
because we jacked a store. Is that what you were about to incriminate yourself on?
No, no. So they throw us up against the car,
Uh-huh.
and the one guy, like the friend of mine, starts like cussing and screaming at these people, and it starts to become clear to me as I overhear the bitch that came out of the apartment by this point and was watching us be handcuffed, that she was discussing this weapon. And I was like, "They think we have a gun. You're Spanish. I'm half black. Shut the fuck up." Because they're gonna kill us. We're walking towards the school, and they also think that we've just lied about being somewhere where we weren't. So they come back still cussing and swearing. We're like, we don't have a gun. It's a toy gun. I just gave it off to the friend to go and put it back. They're like, "You need to get the gun and you need to get it back." I'm like, "I don't have a cell phone. I'm 13. I don't know how to contact this dude."
Fucking 13, looking like you're fucking sick.
Yeah. I'm like, "Guy, I don't know how to contact this man. He just went off with the thing." So we end up finding him. People have come out of the school and they're like, "Is that fucking Keenan with his hands cuffed and, and pushed against the police car with this guy that I have no business being with and is only with him for this English project?"
Now,
So
were you
they
screaming? Were you screaming a high pitched scream at all, or were you just being? You were
I
good.
I was not screaming, but every time that they did ask me a question, I was very high pitchedly answering. It was like, "I don't have a gun. I give it out to the guy who put it back," and it's like, "I don't have anything." Like, just chill out. And then the guy's name is Angel, and
You
Angel
broke
would
the
start lipping
fucking
off.
sound barrier, dude.
Angel would start lipping off, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." So find the gun. It's a toy. They confiscate the toy. They start laughing. And then they're just like, "Look at his face." And they point at me. So even the police were bullying me because of how I handled the situation. Because they're
They
like,
throw a
"Look,
ball at you.
they might as well have." Because they're like, "Look at his face." I still have handcuffs on. Like,
To this day.
no, at the moment, I still had handcuffs on, and you're there being like, "Look at his face. What a fucking nerd." Like,
Do you remember the first time you got put in handcuffs, Brady,
Yep.
by police?
Yep. I can't talk about that one, but I'll talk about the second one. Okay, second time.
Okay.
Fuck, I was young. I was like 13 or so. And it was in the same year as the first time. But it's, yeah, it was about 13, 14 maybe. I think 13. And I'm out on a four-wheeler. And I live in the countryside and out yonder. I lived out yonder. So I was
way
up
out there.
yonder, way out yonder. And I'm driving around on this like four-wheeler. It's got a big grill on it, big, massive fucking front end. Arctic Cat. I'm talking bah, 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 through the fields. And I come to a field and it's just like perfectly, maybe 3 or 4 year old Christmas trees, pine trees. It's a Christmas tree farm, but they're freshly planted. There's a whole field of them.
Hmm.
So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to rip through this thing. So I start ripping through the trails and all that. And I come across one that was just like planted in the middle of the trail. And I drove over it. And what had happened is because they were a couple years old, I didn't just like drive over it and went on my way. I drove onto it and I was trying to do it somewhat slow and it pushed my front end up because I was bending it down and it was pine trees are super solid. They're full of sap. So
Yeah.
it bent it up like a ramp. And then I drove off of it and did a little bump and I was like, oh shit, if I hit these fucking things at like 15, I'm gonna get some good air. Now, if I hit these things at like 25, 30, call the police. And that's exactly what happened because I cleared out a fucking field of these things for like 4 hours all baked. So I fucking come back to my house. The whole grill's bent in from like a brand new four-wheeler bent in. So I'm already like, I didn't know until I got off the four-wheeler how bad I had smashed in the whole front of it. I was just mangled as a kid. Anyway, I was put in handcuffs and my old man got me out of it. So what had happened is the police showed up. Obviously, they trailed it back to my place. There's probably pieces of pine tree, fucking the whole breadcrumbs all the way back to my house. So I put the thing in the garage. And my old man sees it. He's like, "What the fuck did you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I hit a tree. I don't know." Like an hour later, the police roll up. I'm in the fucking driveway. They fucking put me in cuffs. They're like, where's an adult? And I'm like, "I don't know. My old man's like out in the field or something." My old man comes back around and he's like, he goes, "Oh, your kid must have mashed these trees." He's like, "He hasn't even been home all day. What are you talking about?" As he's like closing the garage where the front end of the four-wheeler is all destroyed, right? And he's like, my old man's like standing in front of the garage doing it almost like a fucking Breaking Bad scene. It's like, what are you talking about? He's been gone all day. Anyway, so they let me, my old man talked them out of it and let me out of the cuffs, but I must have done so much environmental damage. I apologize. All those little trees. I was a kid.
All of those people that didn't have a Christmas because of you. Maybe it's because of you that they now have artificial trees that are plugging up the dumps.
You can call me the Grinch.
That's incredible. Wow. I think the first time I was in cuffs was grade 5. And the school that I went to.
You were fucking 10 years old?
The school that I went to alongside, because this was in Washington State, right?
Fucking Christ.
Alcoholic at 4. Smoking weed.
Oh, stoner. He was a stoner at 4.
Yeah,
hey, Tiff, what's going on? Hey,
Yeah,
Tiff's in here, right?
absolutely.
But yes, when
There
you
you
were
go.
So alongside of the field, they had like one of those big wooden gymnasium things. You know what I mean? It looked like Lincoln logs put together, all the oil stained big things, big tires. The swing was the tire with the 3 chains coming down.
Okay.
They had one of these nets, one of those, like cargo net to climb up the side of this thing for the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back when safety wasn't really a thing. One day we went on a complete rampage. Like over time with this netting thing, I used to sit up there with my knife and just cut away at the top of the net just a little bit each recess, right? But this wasn't the one that got us in trouble because eventually that thing collapsed. Kids got hurt. But what that got us in trouble the most was alongside of the field where everybody used to play football and soccer and all the baseball and everything like that, right? It's a bunch of like brush and trees and stuff like that. And we had gotten our hands on a bunch of bottle rockets. And we decided one recess that we were going to go hide in the trees and at a bunch of other little kids, like the 2nd and 3rd graders in the school. Well, of course, we get caught doing that, caught by the principal. The principal now wants to make, a statement on us because hold of mom. So they call the police because we were firing firearms at children. We're children.
You kind of were.
Yeah, but you know what? Whatever.
There was fire coming from your arms, and they were directed at children.
As well, and knowing what we know now, I mean, back then you're scared shitless. You know what I mean? And the cops came and put us all in cuffs and took us into a room and had a nice long chat with us and blah blah blah, and started going over about how my dad should have beat me more when I was at home and stuff. Like, this is stuff that they used to say to kids back then, right?
Bro, I had a science teacher in grade 9 tell me, she's like, your parents should have hit you. I was like, what the fuck?
And I remember
they do.
They did.
I remember saying to the cop, I'll never forget it. I remember saying to the cop when he said that to me, I said, I don't have a dad this month.
Oh, Jesus. And they just looked at you and they're like, go to Canada.
What do you got to say? Yeah, well, I mean, that was much further, now, needless to say, my mom would whoop my ass. And we're talking a 5'7" redheaded German who was not afraid to stand on a stool with a baseball bat to take out her 6 foot tall son. You know what I mean? And she had two of them that she had to deal with. So that was always a thing. But I mean, later in life, as you get older, you kind of figure out what you can and can't get away with, but you still push the limits. Now, was there ever a comical time that you were thrown into handcuffs just, and you were like,
No.
that was dumb. I shouldn't have done that one.
Yeah. Too many, most of my 20s.
So
late teens and early 20s.
I had one in my 20s in Canada, no less. Where we lived was this party house, and we had this rooftop access, so you couldn't get close to our place without somebody seeing you coming, right?
Yeah.
And we're having a big party there one night, and there's a parking lot out and behind, and the cops were talking to some people that were at my party out in the parking lot, and I go out there and I start being the 20-year-old loudmouth. I'm like, just leave them alone. They're going to the party. Leave them the fuck alone. Fuck is the matter with you? I bet you if you weren't so, and you always make the mistake, right? Without that gun and a badge, you're not so tough, are you? At which point, officer looks at me and he says, if you say one more word, you're going in for the night. And I looked at him and I said, okay. And that's all it took. That's all it took.
So there was an infamous lore story that I do. Like, I remember most of the times when I was drunk, and I remember a couple times when I was too drunk. And, like, I black out pieces of it. Sometimes I think in the next morning I just suppressed it. But there was an infamous story of me at about 16 years old, drunk, out front of a roller skating rink that would get turned into a nightclub on weekends, on Friday and Saturday nights. Friday nights would be like adults. So no, it was all ages on Friday, and Saturdays it was an adult. And then they took out the adult one on the Saturdays, and it just became a fucking bunch of fuckery on a Friday night. Like, we're 13-year-olds and 15-year-olds and all of the above are all hanging out with each other in a place where it's serving booze, and there's no like separation from. It's just fuckery. Proper roller skating rink.
Did they call it Friday night fuckery at the Forum?
Pretty much. I don't know what place you're talking of, but they did not call it that. And fucker, trying to get people in shit because I think these people are good people that own that place. Anyway, they knew what they were doing. I'm wasted. Cops fucking bust us all. They bust a whole bunch of us fucking drinking out front of this place because they wouldn't even let us in. We were that fucked up, and they knew we were kids. So we're picking fights with everyone out front. We're just being assholes in the parking lot. We've got all of our older guys there with all the car clubs and all the shit. So we're like taking over the parking lot. The fucking cops got nothing else to do in a city full of 150,000 people. There's this much noise. They're going to show up. So they show up. People are scattering. Fucking people are running, no shoes on in the winter. All this bullshit. Somehow I get up on top of a cop car while they're all chasing everybody and start pissing all over the fucking windshield, not realizing there was a cop in the passenger seat as I'm fucking got my little fucking 14-year-old, 15-year-old dick out, taking a piss, laughing my ass off. They tackled me like Goldberg, fucking put me in the car, drive me home. My head's all scratched up. They didn't even charge me. They just took me home and gave me a drunk in public fucking charge. Told me not to come back out. I caught a cab, went back out, right back to that parking lot like an hour later. Wasted.
Youths don't do that stuff anymore. KJ?
It wasn't the Forum, though.
What about you? No, definitely wasn't the Forum.
It wasn't the Forum.
No, not the Forum.
KJ, yeah, what was your 20s and late teens like? What was the most rebellious night you've ever had in your entire life? That you don't get yourself in trouble, but I mean, like, what's the most drunk in public?
You ever fought a doorman?
Yeah.
You look like the kind of guy who would try to fight a doorman
and break your ankle.
No, but I did. I tackled a doorman by accident. It was.
No, wait, KJ. Before you keep going, I got to preface this. Tid's been a doorman before. Tid, have you ever had anybody accidentally tackle you?
I mean, they might have said it was an accident, but it definitely wasn't KJ.
KJ, proceed.
It was so somebody had attempted to steal my phone. This was
Okay.
I think I
Happened.
just turned 20, maybe 21, and
Yeah.
meeting up with a bunch of people, and I was meeting up with a bunch of people outside of Union Station. So
Okay.
across the street is that hotel.
If anybody doesn't know, Union Station is downtown Toronto, in the heart of downtown Toronto, and it is a pig of a fucking place at night.
Yeah,
It's the hub of all subways, trains, everything coming into Toronto, which means that's where debauchery happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's our airport. It's our JFK. It's our everything there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm walking down, and we had just come from getting some libations.
Okay, if anybody doesn't know what walking is when you've got 2 feet and you're on the street. Keep going, KJ.
We were tipsified for sure, and some more tipsified than others. And so I was walking, and I had my phone out, and I was trying to figure out my directions of where I was going. And as I was doing so, somebody came up behind me. I'm assuming a homeless person, but they weren't dirty enough to be homeless. They just were wearing kind of like some ratty clothing. They took my phone and proceeded to just take off down the street. So,
when was this, KJ? How many years ago?
It would have been 9 years ago now, or just
Okay,
about.
all right.
Yeah, 9 or so. 8, 9.
So this isn't a Venezuelan gang or anything. This is just,
as far as I know, no. This was just craziness at 2 p.m.
Okay.
So
2 a.m.
I go running, and I'm running about as fast as I can, and this guy has got some speed, and so I'm losing him hard, and none of my friends are helping. They've left me, like, they've stood standing, they're laughing at this predicament that I'm in. So I'm running, and I approach the hotel, and I'm screaming for them to stop. And unfortunately, the doorman comes out, hearing the commotion, misses the guy, looks towards the guy, and here I come, and I cannot
fucking Kool-Aid, man.
And I cannot stop myself, and I bowl this man over. He turns, so his whole back is to me. So when I take him now, his hands go out to try and protect him, of course. But this is like, I want to say early in the winter, so it's kind of slushy, I guess, kind of wet on the ground. So he can't get purchase, and his hands just right across the ground. I left him behind and continued. So I did like a good, like, very military roll, got right to my feet, said sorry, said I'll be back, and kept going. Poor guy. I caught up to the guy that took my phone finally.
Okay.
Managed to grab hold of his hoodie and shit. So once I grabbed hold of his hoodie, he just dropped my phone. I tried to, keep hold of him, but no, he got away. But I got my phone back, and I'm doing the walk back, and I see this poor man get up, and it was then that I realized that this old man is in his 60s. And I I bowled over this man.
So far in this episode, you've talked about abusing 2 elderly people.
Yeah.
There's something fucking wrong with you, dude.
I went back. I apologized profusely. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like,
were you wearing that hat?
No. I
it would have helped.
Don't.
You could have went, sir, Saya, I apologize.
I should have. I said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And tried to give him some change.
You always have fucking change on.
Wow. Wow. Son,
But
you're going to go out into the world and you're going to meet panhandlers and people that just need to have random bits of change. Be that superhero in everybody's life.
yeah. Yeah. By the time my friends caught up, they had only made it as far as the doorman, and they were just checking on the doorman.
Did they
And
kick him when he was down too?
probably because they weren't very helpful throughout the entire thing.
That is unbelievable.
KJ, you are the gift that keeps on giving, and this story has barely any relevance at all to any of these topics. But KJ said something that popped in my head, and I don't think I've ever said it in public before, and I just want to get it out because it's a story I experienced that I don't know if anybody would what they would do in this situation. You guys tell me. I'll give you a scenario. You tell me what you do. You're late for a train. Let's talk Unions. It's not even Union. Let's say Union Station, just because it was close enough. It was Long Branch in Toronto, but so you're trying to catch a train, and that train's there, and you know it's only there for a minute. The GO trains and the subways, they move after literally 60 seconds, right? This is in between rounds in an MMA fight. They move no matter what. 60 seconds, it's up. So I'm running up the concrete stairs, and there's a big girl behind me, and big, I don't mean tall, I mean KJ big, friendly size. Well, you said it and I didn't. I was going to say friendly size. And she has a glass water bottle in her hand. One of those like ones with the handle on it and a big, and it's like half full of juice or whatever, right? And I blast past her because like I'm a normal human. I'm a normal human, right? She's got like fucking like pineapple juice or something in there. I don't know what she's got, KJ. Apparently that's funny. But I blast past her because I'm a normal human. And I'm making it. She's not going to make it. At this point, I hear smash. The hub of the boosh was her feet giving out, her little legs giving out from underneath this massive frame, friendly size frame. And she broke her bottle. And when she broke her bottle, she had it in her hand like this. And it broke on the concrete steps. So I look back. So this is me, right? As you can see the steps, there's a couple steps left. She's doing this, so she's on the steps. Does one of those. Pulls her hand up, shows me first, then looks. Bro, right through. Like a fucking, like the end of Ghost.
Like
a piece of, dude, big chunk of like solid pain, man. Like whatever she had was double blown. Through the hand, not even bleeding. Like a fucking movie prop. Because it was so quick. It's like, looks back at me like, help. I caught the train, boys.
I was going to say, what were you going to do to help her?
I had to go to work. I had to open up a store that I owned. It had to open at 9 a.m. no matter what. It's 2 cities away. So what would you have done, KJ? Would you have left her would you have gave her change and missed the train?
In all honesty, I would have laughed.
Watched her bleed out? Because she almost cut her hand right off, dude.
I would have left the train behind because I wouldn't have been able to hold back my laughter enough to compose myself to get on. Because
That's
I know
sadistic.
I know me, and I just know that I would look, and the shock would hit me first, and that would immediately follow with a big belt of laughter.
Okay.
And
I'm not gonna lie.
You asshole.
I'm not gonna lie. When I got on the train and I sat there and I was going away and I'm like seeing some other lady helping her and she's just like this and I can't even look because I'm like I can't ruin my morning by seeing this lady's hand severed, right? So I'm like, dude, it's like April. It's not even October you wait for October for that shit, like a month like today. And I'm like, I giggled a bit, but it was out of like shock. I was just like, what the fuck, man? Holy, I went from being worried about missing a train to watching some chick get Krugered. So KJ, I get the laughter, but I wouldn't laugh right directly in her face.
Well, especially
it was horrible
because of the way they you picture it is when they look up at you. That's.
Are you looking it up? Are you looking it up?
Yeah. Incident reports. No, when was it?
2017, April 2017.
Oh, so not that long ago. So you know why the lady was probably looking at you like that the whole time. She was probably a big fan, and she was like,
No.
why isn't Richard Flat helping me up the stairs? Why did the little boy from Wind at My Back kick me when I was down?
You're just trying to get an Opus clip here. You're just trying to get a clip. You just clipped it. Look at now. This is on the internet clipped.
Done. Wow. I would have I would have helped the lady. Who are we kidding?
No, you wouldn't. You said you would have caught the train.
No, that KJ said that. I would have helped the lady.
No, I would have missed the train.
Then
You make sure that's in the clip.
And then while the paramedics were looking after her, I probably would have rifled through her purse.
Jesus. Okay, well, see, there you go.
My question: have you ever mugged anybody, KJ?
Oh,
have I ever mugged anybody? No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
No, one of the few things that I haven't done. No, I haven't mugged anyone.
Next question.
So I used to be a doorman for many, many years, and and sometimes when you work at places, you have a lot of drunk people, and sometimes some of those places they serve food, and sometimes you'll try to get people that'll try to skip out on their bill.
What's that called? Dine and Dash.
Dine and Dash, right?
What's the other name for it, though? We got a Canadian name for it. I forget what it is.
I don't know.
DoorDash.
Oh, Trudeau Special.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Where he just goes in, eats everything up, and fucks everybody on the way out.
And then fucks everyone on the way out. Yep.
So I'm working my shift with another doorman, and this lady tries to bolt out the door, and she's already half lit as it is. She's by herself, and the waiter's like, stop her. So we stopped the girl, and it's kind of like in one of these vestibules, like you got to go through a door and then another set of doors. And she didn't pay her bill, blah, blah, blah. And this lady's like, clearly didn't pay her bill. So we made sure that the bill was paid. And there's the thing, she had the money in her wallet to pay the bill. So with a little bit of help and persuasion, we helped her locate the money out of her wallet to pay the bill. Before you even say anything, KJ, no, we did not take any more money than what was owed for the bill. But in doing so, I had noticed that the name on her ID didn't exactly match the name that was on the bottles of drugs in her purse. So she wasn't allowed to leave with those.
Okay. You are fucking crazy. You gotta be super careful. I gotta walk a real fucking thin line if I'm gonna tell this next one that's very similar to that. I'm at a fucking house party. Okay, you know what? I'm OJ in this one. If I was at a house party when I was 18 with a bunch of friends, and I ran into a girl who had previously beat up one of my friend's sisters pretty bad. Messed her face up. She was in the hospital, plastic surgery type thing, right? Kicked her with stilettos on, stiletto boots, just really bad shit. So if I was at a house party where she was throwing the house party, and she knew and was dumb enough to let me and my friends in, who she knew that the person's brother was there, or could have been, if for some reason she had left her purse out, and we decided to leave for the night, we may have taken that thing. And inside of that thing was a bunch of bottles of pills without her name on it and a bunch of random men's name. She must have been jacking bottles of shit from guys, every dude she had ever probably went home with type thing. Maybe we would have taken all those and ate them. If that had happened, but I don't know if it happened. Sounds like something that could have happened though.
Without knowing what they were. KJ, have you ever known,
most of the time. If it had Pam at the end, you just ate it.
Have you ever known anybody did you ever go clubbing? I don't mean like baby seals, I mean like night clubbing.
I've gone once or twice. Clubbing has never been the life for me.
Okay.
What's the life for you, KJ? Sorry, I don't know. That's a second clear question. Answer Tids first.
Because I was going to ask if you ever had in the situation where somebody would just come up to you and be like, here, take this, and put something random in your hand, and you'd be like, what is it? And they would rattle off a bunch of letters and you would just eat it anyways? Was that ever a thing in
No.
your life?
No, but you know what? That has just lit up a thing in the back of my brain where I'm pretty sure that I was almost kidnapped.
All
Like,
right,
I'm
keep going.
almost certain of it. I was at a McDonald's in the Jane and Finch area, and somebody's came up behind me and they were like, "Hey, it looks like you dropped $50." And I looked down. I'm like, I don't have 50 bucks. I didn't have 50 bucks on me. I had 50 cents, but not 50 bucks. And so I looked down and they're like, hey, because you looked at it, you're the type of person that wants to earn money. And then he was trying to sell me something. I can't even remember what he was trying to sell me. But after about 2 minutes, I was like, listen, I'm kind of tired of listening to you. He's like, no, listen, come out to my car and we'll discuss some things. All right? Some things about whatever he was trying to sell me. And my stupid ass, I was going to go.
How old were you when this happened?
I was of the age that I should have known better. I'm pretty sure that I was like
That's not the question we
grade,
asked you. How
grade,
old?
grade 7. So I think it was grade 7. So whatever grade 7 is, I think.
But you still had the voice of somebody in grade 4?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, this is
And you
never
had no
gonna.
facial hair.
Yeah, no.
He
So
thought you were an old black woman.
yeah, so he was like, "Come out
It
to
was going
my,
to kick you in the belly.
come out to my car." Come out to my car. And so when I left the McDonald's, I saw him, right? I saw him and he was like waving me over. Now I went up to the vehicle and he was like, yeah, no, come on in and we'll discuss it. And he like opened the passenger door from the side. And it was at this point where the alarm bells went off. And I was like, I really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't do this. But I want money.
That was your gaydar.
Yeah. And so
So you got so basically what you're telling me is your McDonald's was free afterwards.
I did not get into the vehicle, thankfully, and I turned around and I walked away and I just got the hell out of there. But I'm pretty sure that I was going to be kidnapped.
You were going to be
You're going to be kid something.
Yeah,
you were going to be on the internet.
yeah. I was a pretty girl back then,
Yeah. Yeah, your tape would have got traded for sure.
Well, we're about on that note. We're almost at that time, guys. From the impromptu TID talks, which turned into
Stocks.
something.
It wasn't even. It's just a stock on TIDtalk.
It's just
Well, you guys have all lived some fucked up lives, and I don't even think we've cracked the code yet. KJ, come on, dude. You almost got into a vehicle with a stranger.
Yeah, dude. I never did that.
Don't leave yourself out of this. All right? You were the stranger, Brady. You were the stranger.
That's crazy. And you're talking about to a guy here who used to hitchhike everywhere.
Never hitchhike.
You ever get into a car with a stranger and they didn't have any door handles when you got on the inside of that thing?
No.
Fucking death proof.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell driving you around.
That happened to me one time. Thankfully, I was a teenager who carried a knife, and we'll get into those stories at another time, I think.
I once drove in a car doing like 150 down a fucking country road in the middle of the night with no headlights and no floor on the bottom of the car.
We used to play the game. Where you drive in the rain and you turn your headlights off and turn your wipers off.
Yeah. We do that in snow, man. And you just do it in the blizzards and shit. It was awesome.
Go.
Look at fucking Star Wars, dude. You're just straight.
Yeah.
But KJ, never change, man. Never change. Unless, you want to be a good human being.
Never?
No. It's more fun to slip laxatives into a woman's drink.
Have you done that?
He did. I don't want. We got to save that for next time. But he did. It's a long story, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. It's actually what got KJ. It's what put me in touch with KJ. That story led somebody to calling me and saying, "You need to get a hold of this kid." And I'm like, "Who is he?" And they're like, "He's John Green's brother." And I said, "Nope." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. Here, just listen to 2 minutes of this." I listened to 2 minutes of it. I was literally sending my people to sending him messages the next day. I was like, I don't care what he wants to do, where he wants to do it. Just please let me be involved. I met KJ a couple weeks later, and a fucking star is born.
Well, there you have it, huh? Good for you,
Mhm.
KJ. And we will have to ask that one next time, but we're out
It's
of
fucking
time.
horrible. It's horrible.
For all of you that decided to pop on by, thank you. Appreciate the hell out of y'all. You know where you can find us. We are, listen, this TIDtalk channel is going to start becoming a little bit more popularized because it's just this. It's just a bunch of dumbasses telling dumbass stories about, things that may or may not have happened in our lives or other lives that we've heard about.
Yeah.
Listen, if you've ever played the game Balderdash,
If.
maybe this is just a real life version.
Mm.
I'm Chris. He's Brady. And of course, none of this would be possible without that guy down there. That's KJ. This has been Shit Talk on TIDtalk. We'll see y'all soon. Thank you.
I got something